talk to you is about numerology. Numerology that is called gematria or earth measures, that had its roots with the Amorites who seized Babylon in 1950 BC. They are also the first people to come up with Hammurabi's law codes. A lot of the current laws we have today actually have their roots with the Amorites and when they took Babylon, but they are also the first people to come up with high mathematics. This includes pi, square roots, and modern geometry as we know it. So the development of high math is from this early date, and they incorporated that into a numerical codex where certain numbers had meanings, much like they do today, which 13 is unlucky, and we have some other numbers that have different meanings. Now the core numbers involved in this, I'll move right along. 666 was the number for the sun. 1080 was the number for the moon. 555 was the number for the sacred marriage. 33 and 8. And I'll get a few more specifics on this. This is the Babylonian magic square. What's interesting of this is that each one of these, no matter which way you add this up, it's going to add up to 111. 111, 6 on each side, so no matter how you added this, it's going to get 666. But it was something of them playing around with those numbers and the significance of 111, which we can see and know that they were playing around this, that of timesing this of how you get the sequences of numbers. And if you go to this extent, you can go through 1 through 9 and then back to 1 again. But that was the significance of the number 1. The Babylonians, this is their king's list, 432,000 years, which we can break down into 216, divided again down to 1080. The significance of 216 is that it is a sum total of 6 times 6 times 6. And then we get 216, so whenever we see a 216, we know kind of we're talking about the sacred marriage because we have the number 1080 involved and we have the number 666. That's the sacred marriage that was the real principle and essence of ancient religions, where you never wanted all of sun, you never wanted all of earth, you wanted a balance. It was a balance of power. But numbers that do show up in these ancient religions, and what most people don't realize is that in the Bible, these numbers show up. You're all familiar with Revelations, and where it mentions 666. What's interesting is that in the next quote, after mentioning the 666, it is 144,000 people that are going to be saved. And if we divide the 144,000 by 666, this is the number we get. And if you can see that, but it's 216.216.216.216 to infinity. So we have the 666, we have the 216, and of course we have the 216, we also have the 1080, which is half, and we have the quotient of 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6. They knew that. That's not in the Bible by chance. They knew that. That is in relationship to the sacred marriage of opposites of the sun and the earth mother. You're familiar with 666 in the Bible, meaning the devil. However, if you read the quote, it says, "Let he who hath understanding count the number, for the number of man as 606. So let's think of who was persecuting the Christians. It was the Romans. So let's understand that it was the Romans that were persecuting the Christians, and now let's count the Roman numerical system of 500, 150, 10, 5, and 1, and we get a total of 666. So 666 is in reference to the devil, it's in reference to Rome. Because we know, even in the Bible, that 666 meant the sun. We know that from Chronicles, where they bring Solomon 600 threescore talents of gold as a tribute number. And if we look at the name Solomon itself, Sol is Latin for sun, Am is Hindi for sun, and An is Egyptian for sun. Solomon means sun, sun, sun. We could further take that in taking the O's, which is the 15th letter of the Greek alphabet, drop that O down 3 times, 15, 15, 15, which could be an anagram for 1 plus 5, 1 plus 5, 1 plus 5, or the name Solomon itself means 666. In Ezra, the children of Adonakam, who were escaping Nebuchadnezzar, had 666 people with them. Adonakam is in reference to the Phoenician god Adonis, who is a sun god. So again, we have the sun being attached to the number 666. Now, let's take a quick look at this in the Ohio Valley. This is Charleston, West Virginia. We have 2 hinges, both of which are 666 feet in circumference, being associated with the sun. Sometimes being a base 6 numerical system, which we still base our clocks on, we base our calendars from, all that having its roots in ancient Babylon. I'm sorry this did not come out, but each one of these hinges is 210 feet. 210 times pi is 660. This one here is 240 feet, but it's a number that's going to repeat itself continuously through the Ohio Valley. We're either going to have 666 or 660 in most of the hinges. As far as the Earth Mother goes, we're going to see plenty of 1080s. This is the graded way at Piketon, which is 1,080 feet long. And then attached to that is a set of earthworks. So the graded way is over here, but here we have 420 and 240, so we have a 660. But if we add 420, 420, and 240, we get 1080. And this 212 right here, 212 times pi is 666. So we can pull all 3 numbers out of this particular earthwork. Over in Hopeton, at Chillicothe, Ohio, we know that, that they had learned how to square a circle because this circle is 20 acres and the square is 20 acres, and so squaring a circle is not easy. That's high mathematics, but there's several cases in the Ohio Valley where they did it. This circle is 1,050 feet in diameter, and 1,050 is 210 times 5. So it's an expression of the 210 in a little bit larger form. And in the context of squaring a circle. Also around Chillicothe are plenty of these earthworks. These isn't real clear, but each one of the sides of the square is 1,080 feet. And we see it repeating itself. One of the most, some of the best evidence is in Winchester, Indiana. Here we have an east-west wall, 1,320 feet, that's 660 times 2. And here on the north-south walls, we have 1080. But if we have 1080s together, we got a 2160, and then we have the 660s here on the north. So we can pull a 2160 or a 666, and that balance. And hopefully lost a square. Oh, here we go. Now, just a few miles from the Winchester earthwork is Fountain City. It's just about 5 miles away. Now, this was 780 foot on each side. And if you take the 1320 of Winchester and subtract the 780, you get 540. So if we add all 4 sides of the difference, again, we're going to get 2160. So the Winchester works and the Fountain City work were made to be numerically harmonic. And then finally, to prove the point, in Lexington, Kentucky, and there's 3 others, this earthwork, this hinge, is 555 feet in circumference. And 555 is an important number because 555 times pi is 1746, or the sum total of 666 plus 1080. The gateway to this and many of the earthworks in the Ohio Valley is 33 feet. 33 is the square root of 1080. Of course, we know in the Bible, Christ is crucified at 33. Christ is the gateway. The gateway is 33.